Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ERSCA Belly Up Sports Series, penultimate round of the Harpoon Design Chase for the Cup. It is the Ohio Inter-Express 200 at Richmond Raceway. Don Santina alongside David Westergreen, and of course, Carlos Acosta producing us behind the scenes for 3Y TV. David, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Looking forward to some short track racing, the penultimate race for the ERSCA Championship, the third championship. We're almost guaranteed a new champion. Only Nick Massey seems to be able to, become the repeat champion. Ryan Lutz's pretty much out of the playoffs. So the points battle now boils down to Kwame Scott, who has a 15-point lead over Tate Lytle. Nick Massey is 1 point behind Tate Lytle with a 16-point gap to Kwame Scott, and then Indelicato will be 26 points back with 10 points at halfway in this race, which will be lap 85. No, 90. No, 80. It is 85 because it's a 170 lap race. Lap 85 will be the halfway point, and I think that's going to be valuable by some of these guys, or some of these guys.
Absolutely. Can't count those two guys out chasing for sure. Tate, besides last week, has been super consistent. Nick has been here before, as we mentioned, one of only champions. Of course, neither one have repeated in the 2 years of ERSCA, so looking to see if we make it 3 for 3 or if we get our first repeat. It's going to be interesting. We know Kwame has some rivals on the racetrack throughout the year that potentially could make it interesting if they get into the right situation tonight. Not saying that it's going to happen, not saying that it might not happen, but we'll see how it all plays out. And Tate and Nick going to give it their best shots here with 2 races to go.
We've talked about it all season, right? That you don't want to have made enemies on the racetrack at this point, and with the way Kwame Scott's raced, he seems to have made a number of enemies on the track. We think back pretty recently to Cameron Rich at Atlanta, where he felt very slighted by Kwame Scott moving down a lane in front of him and ultimately causing the wreck that just kind of put Cameron behind the 8 ball in this series. And he's 56 points back. That's over a race behind with 2 races to go. You can effectively pencil Cameron Rich out of the playoff picture.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's quite a few others. I mean, we go back to way earlier in the season. Damian Leininger had issues with him. There's been contact between him and Ryan Lott. So, there's a list of guys that's probably not a little bit too long for what Scott feels comfortable with coming into tonight.
Yeah, you got to think these guys have good memories, right? I had to go back and look it up. I had a buddy go back and look it up for me here, and it was April 11th was the date of Martinsville, which he just brought up between Leininger and Kwame Scott. And Damian's on the track tonight. Now, Damian told me Richmond's his favorite track. He loves running it, so of course he was going to be out here for Richmond. But, you never know. This sure would be the time to end something. And like we said, you don't want to make enemies out here on this racetrack because it will come back to bite you later in the season.
Well, to turn the tide a little bit here, we'll see if Kwame can get... He's had some good qualifying efforts. He's had some good runs. Hasn't been a victory lane in quite a while now, but has been running consistent enough to be sitting atop the points with 2 races to go. We'll see if he can have another consistent run, keep things moving in the right direction here tonight. We are making our way through our qualifying session.
And let's think back to last week at Talladega as well. Coming out of turn 4, 3 of our 4 championship contenders were 3 wide coming through the trioval. With just the slightest mistimed bump on the bottom lane, Nick Indelicato effectively ended, the points lead, the points gaps that Massey and Tate were going to have over him, and changed the complexion of the championship entirely. Kwame Scott shot to the bottom, misses the wreck, and almost wins the race, despite never being up near the front the whole time, and now has a 15-point lead. All that to say, this can change in 1 lap. The last lap. This race could be mostly over. We could have gone green the whole way, and on the last lap, things could change completely drastically each and every time. Tate's been almost perfect. He was setting up to get another top 3 finish last week at Talladega. And now he's kind of on the back looking in.
Absolutely. Ryan Lutz currently sitting atop the charts here in qualifying. 22.26.
That is a lap faster than Lutz ran in practice, but it's not even within 0.2 of the fastest lap that's been run in this session. We'll have to see if that lap will hold up. I think some of these guys are waiting for lighter temperatures. Track's all the way down to 80 degrees. Sun is setting. We will be running a night race under the lights here at Richmond. Should be a real banger. I think back to when we ran the Richmond the last time out. Ryan Lutz did win, but that was in the COT car.
Got Damian Leininger and Cameron Rich making their way out onto the track for their qualifying efforts. Oh, Leininger spun it out there.
He crossed the line too. Leininger's going to be starting in the back. Unless he can get another lap in. Looks like he will be able to, but that first lap is not going to account, I don't believe. One of the advantages of having it be a simulator like iRacing here is you bin that for the car the first lap, you get a whole brand new car to start your second lap. There's no penalty there. So Leininger will just have to go out and try again, which he spun it out again.
A rough go here for Leininger in his qualifying efforts. See if he can turn that around in the race. Obviously not going to have probably the starting position he hoped for.
Damian is fast here at Richmond. Definitely. I've seen him run, up front a number of times. He loves Richmond. He loves this track, loves this car track combo. So I expect him to work his way through the field as Nick Massey jumps to the top of the board. And if Nick Massey qualifies well, he's out for blood.
Also could mean Kwame Scott qualifies well. Usually they're pretty similar in qualifying efforts.
Kwame just went up the track, almost popped the wall there on his warm-up lap. And a few weeks going by now as well. Kwame starting up his lap. That was his first lap there. And he's going to be pretty far down the order after lap 1, but I think lap 2 is the one he wants to get after it.
We just saw Weeks there send it through the grass into the infield wall, coming back to the finish line.
There's Kwame Scott, third on the board. Right behind Ryan Lutz, but behind his teammate Nick Massey.
So there you go.
Qualifying. I have Nick and Delicato did not take a lap. He attempted 2 laps. He did not get one down. So Delicato will start 31st.
So we'll go through the starting lineup here. We just mentioned the top 3. Dallas Myhan and Wesley Crump will round out the top 5. Weeks and Trupiano 6 and 7. Cooper Johnson 8. Austin Beers and Seth Rawls will round out the top 10.
Yeah, Cameron Rich will start 13th. Oh,
I was just going to say Garen Turner and Trey Holmes just to finish out the screen there, 11th and 12th.
Yep. Cameron Rich will start 13th. Then Jared Mogard, Chaser will start in 15th. But you'll have to look all the way back to 30th, actually, for Tate Lytle. He only got that one slow lap down. He will be the last car that qualified. Ethan Burrell will start 26th on the grid. A lot of guys kind of farther back. Scott Crump, 19th. I'd watch out for Dylan Thomas tonight as well, 22nd. He's usually pretty good at these short tracks. But then we get to this third page. A lot of really fast guys here. Hank Steinmiller, Burrell, Tate Lytle, Indelicato, Chris Wright, running that 95 for Josh Adams once again. Leininger, Bayuk. And then even to the next page, Jack Ely will start way back here. I know he's a pretty good short track driver as well. So that group that didn't qualify, man, I wouldn't even be surprised if the race winner came from there. They'd have to do some serious wreck avoidance to make that happen, though.
All right, so is it that time of the show?
It's that time of the show. Who's first? Carlos, you want to go first?
Yeah, I've raced this guy a lot here at this track here at Richmond, and honestly, I don't think there's anybody better here to conquer Richmond than Cameron Rich.
Well, it's a pretty good pick. I think he's won at Richmond in this series before as well, if I'm not mistaken. Who are you going with, Dom? I'll go last.
Trying to decide here, but I think I'm going to go with him. He's already helped me out once this season. I'm going to go back with your pole sitter, Nick Massey, for the win tonight.
I was talking to Austin Beers before the race, and I asked him if I should pick him, and he said, "Well, I don't know about all that." But he also has run Richmond recently in real life. Said the game's pretty close to the real thing, and he ended that race with a wreck. So I'm going to pick Austin Beers to not wreck in this one and go out and take the win. With that, we're getting this first pace lap done. We'll be into the second pace lap here, and then we'll be starting this race up. Nick Massey will start from the pole. That should give him an opportunity to pick up that all-important bonus point for leading a lap.
Yeah, it's kind of opposite what we've seen some of these races so far through the days. Massey and Scott have usually had to come from the back and make their way up, and it's usually Tate that's sitting up here in one of these two front rows, and it's kind of reverse course here tonight with these two guys up front, and Tate gonna have to cut his way through the field.
Split by Ryan Lutz here to start the race. Pace car is off. We are green. Kwame Scott and Nick Massey with a really good jump, and they will both clear Ryan Lutz into turn one. Maybe Lutz hanging on Kwame Scott's right rear quarter. It allows Massey to jump away.
The two teammates kind of started there together, allowed Scott to get that good jump into second place, but here comes Lutz right back after him for second inside turn three.
There's one thing I know Ryan Lutz does not like to do, and it's something that we saw last week at Talladega. It's not lead. Lutz would much prefer to be out front in this race. He's very good here at Richmond. And he'll go try to get up underneath Kwame Scott. They're tight off of turn two. Looked like Dallas Mayan got the wall on lap one. Cooper Johnson gets it on lap two. You do not want to be on the outside going out of two there.
Weeks will round out your top five for the time being as these two continue to battle for second and third. Lutz will finally get the position away, and he'll now set sail on Nick Massey here.
Trupiano just clocked the wall as well. Bunch of different guys having issues with that turn two wall. That seems to be the trouble spot right now. Doesn't seem to be hurting many of them, if any. Dallas Mahan still fourth. Cooper Johnson still hanging tough in 13th. He's fallen back a little bit, and then Trupiano still in 8th.
David's guy, Austin Beers, already up 3 positions here inside the top 10. He just went around Wesley Crump for 6th.
Up to the top of the track, Andy Trupiano is also going to try to jump by for 7th there. Big battle commencing behind them as Cameron Rich and Garen Turner are side by side with Seth Rawls looking on.
Carlos's guys cracked the top 10 as well. Cameron Rich up to 9th, looking to try to sneak under Trupiano here as decides better of it. And he'll go under Wesley Crump for the 8th position and kind of follow this freight train through here.
Cameron Rich is a very, very good driver here at Richmond. Very smooth on the brake pedal, smooth on the gas pedal. Always able to find speed. If he ends up at the front of this field, I think Nick Massey and Ryan Lutz are going to have somebody to challenge him here, because Cameron Rich looking awfully fast here in the early going. Looking up front, Ryan Lutz is losing time to Nick Massey right now. That 36 car not quite as good as that 48 early on in this race. Kwame Scott starting to put pressure on Ryan Lutz here.
Gap already up to 7/10 of a second between Nick Massey and Ryan Lutz. If these two continue to battle, it's going to only allow Massey to expand his lead. It's caution on the speed
here. Robert Hill, Ty McIntosh is one. Ethan Burrell was involved in the other one, along with Gavin Hibbs. Zishan Dura is going to be involved. So 2 separate incidents here. Or potentially one. Hibbs is right there in front of Ty. Looks like Robert just gets into Ty right there. I think that was the 18 of Heater maybe. Oh. Dewar did not see the caution lights on there and hammered into the 1 car.
Johnny just narrowly avoids all this too.
Who is that? Oh, it's Scott Crump right there. Crump's going to get Gavin Hibbs. And you see Hibbs spinning up ahead. Hibbs is going to clobber into Ethan Burrell in the 37 car. So about a 6 or 7 cars taken out in this one. But it is Richmond, short track. I think the only car that might be done for the night is Dustin Dewar. See here, nothing on the brakes, and then it's too late. Watch Burrell here. He gets sucked up in it because Crump gets into Hibbs. Nowhere to go. Hank Steinmiller just narrowly avoids it. So does Nick Indelicato, and so does Tate Lytle. That'll erase the Nick Massey lead over Ryan Lutz.
Top 4 will basically restart exactly how we saw them start initially.
You saw the power of teammates on that inside line. Kwame Scott and Nick Massey went together, and they were able to get around Ryan Lutz. We'll have to see if that continues on this second restart of the night. Carlos, do you want to preface our little thing that we're doing tonight, right now, while we're under caution here? Okay. Progress update. Tate Lytle is up to 23rd from 30th starting spot. Nick Indelicato up to 22nd starting from 31st starting spot. Vincent Isabella is between them. He started 29th. He's up to 22nd. So back there, that whole group has moved forward pretty well. Also, we had Ty McIntosh in the care center for what it's worth.
Damian Leininger and Chris Wright's in that group too, trying to make their way up.
Yep, all of them picking up spots. Let's we got 1 to green. Let's get one quick word with Ty. Ty McIntosh, is David in the booth. What happened out there, buddy?
Just got rear-ended, and I'm not really mad at Robert, to be honest with you. It is what it is. It's short tracks. Just wish I had some more luck. Haven't really finished a race in a while. So, man, this just sucks.
Gotcha, man. I feel you. We'll see you next week, hopefully, and tune into OSCA on Thursday. Ty runs there, too.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.
All right, going back to green here. Massey, Lutz, front row, going to lead it. Teammates did not get quite as good of a jump as they did on the initial start of the race. It's going to be a battle again here between Kwame Scott and Ryan Lutz for that second position. Austin Beers on the outside, looking there for the 4th position as well.
We saw it at the same time. Beers challenging Dallas Mahan for that 4th spot. Beers has rocketed through the field in that 9th starting position. He'll now challenge for 4th. He has that real-life Richmond experience, able to run that top groove. And this time, Nick Massey does not get away from Ryan Lutz at all.
Yeah, Lutz able to get around Kwame Scott this time and slot himself into that 2nd position, and he is on the rear bumper of that 48 car now. Contact there in the back. A couple cars got together, but I think they got it squared away and back racing again.
Let's set us up. What are we doing? Trying to get him to preface it, but on lap 19, we're going to do a silent lap 19 for a guy who died in the who raced with Carlos a bit ago. Yeah, go ahead, Carlos.
Unfortunately, for all the Thruway TV fans, for a couple of years, if anybody has seen us broadcast a couple of leagues in TNR as well as the Sim Racers Club and American Sim Racing Series, you would have recognized the name of Todd Kirkwood, who unfortunately passed away this past weekend, I believe it was on a Sunday. So we're just gonna have a little token memoriam here for a legendary racer who is no longer with us tonight. So on lap 19, we're gonna have a brief moment of silence, and then we'll resume back with regular broadcasting.
Yep, absolutely. And it's tough because we all do so much of this. As there's a caution now, and well, lap 19 will be silent under yellow, it looks like, but Steinmiller and Damien wrecked. I couldn't see who they were dodging. Damien wrecks under braking here because there's a wreck happening in front of him. Is Gerald. Bayuk's involved. Steinmiller at the inside wall as well. I do believe we're hitting lap 19 right now.
Yep, coming to it here right now as we cross the line, so we'll step aside for just a minute. We'll be back.
Well, welcome back. After our moment of silence there, and we're kind of all one big family. So I've raced across leagues with a bunch of different guys, and I never met Todd Kirkwood, but be the same thing if any of these guys happen to go. I would hope we were able to honor them in some way, and seems like a good thing to do right there.
Absolutely, could not agree anymore. And 20 laps in the books, 2 cautions. Hopefully this is not the trend for the next 150 laps, but we will see.
Yep. Early on, we have not been able to kind of get green and get spread out, but that's also how it was in the COT car. As we recall, that thing was under caution most of the race. It was just very long and drawn out. I want to say 20-something cautions in that one, and I'll double back and take a look, but
that's not uncommon to happen from time to time here in ERSCA either. I know, David, we've had quite a few races over the 2 years where these short tracks have caused problems for the guys, and we've been up there in the 20-plus caution range. Obviously not where we would like to end up tonight, but not a rarity here and there throughout the series. So
18 cautions in that spring ERSCA race that Ryan Lutz did take home over Cameron Rich, coincidentally enough. So those guys both seem to be pretty strong once again. Lutz up here in second, Rich back in 7th, but moving forward pretty clearly.
Yeah, he'll restart in that, as you said, 7th position. David, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Austin Beer's going to start 5th and right in front of Cameron Rich. Those guys going to have that potential teammate jump of the Massey and Kwame Scott cars to maybe get them another spot or two here. Those two seem to like the two guys that are charging through the field the best right now.
Yeah, they've been pretty aggressive here on the 2 restarts. Lights out on the pace car. Going to pull down pit road. We're going to go racing once again. Massey and Lutz going to lead us for the 3rd time back to green.
Massey gets a really good jump. Kwame Scott with him. Beyond that, everybody else kind of fell asleep a little bit. Austin Beer's unable to get that jump. Matthew Weeks is going to clear him for 5th.
I think, if I was watching right, I think Beers tried to time it up a little too early. Had to get on the brakes, and when he did, that's when Massey took off, and it kind of gapped him a little bit there off the start.
Games you play on the restart, that'll kind of solve itself a little bit with that new restart rule that I'm sure will get implemented next year into ERSCA. We have the old rules currently where the leader chooses when to go and everybody else must follow, and it could be not in that restart zone. Kwame and Lutz still battling it out side by side. We're working really hard against each other here, and again allowing Massey to pull away a little bit. And Lutz might have got the wall. That'll allow Kwame Scott to get second.
A couple of battles back here in the back half of the top 10. Cameron Rich underneath Weeks. That's for the 6th position. Seth Rawls just went around Andy Trupiano, and now Jared Mogard is going to try to take that position away for 8th.
3 wide on the front straightaway. Ryan Lutz got hit by Myhan. Myhan stacked into Beers. Rich down to the bottom of the racetrack. They're 3 wide. Rich into Beers. Contact. Beers has to check up out of it. And everybody makes it okay. Big aggressive move by Cameron Rich. He knows he must win this race, win next week, and gets some good fortune aside from that. In order to win this championship, I'm sure Cameron Rich just wants to go out here and win each and every race the rest of the way. That really ruined Austin Beers' momentum, though. He's fallen all the way back to, what, 8th now? 7th.
Yeah, and he almost just got spun around by Mogard there. Mogard took a look to the inside, made contact with that left rear quarter panel. But that could have been 3 separate wrecks there with that Cameron Rich and Beers battle. Instead, everyone keeps it straight and keeps it clean. We continue on here on lap 28.
This time by Kwame Scott and Nick Massey ran near identical lap times. Massey might have got Kwame just a teensy bit. Kwame's been able to reel him in just a touch since he got by Ryan Lutz.
Big pack here right around the 10th position. Andy Trupiano and Seth Rawls in a battle. Cooper Johnson and Dylan Thomas in a battle. And if you look right behind that, Vincent Isabella and Tate Lytle are battling for about 12th position.
And Trey Holmes had hit the wall at one point during that last run, so that car might be a little bit of damage, have a little bit of damage on it. Dylan Thomas shot up the racetrack. That'll open the door for Cooper Johnson. That'll probably also open the door for Tate Lytle to work his way towards that top 10. He's 13th currently.
Yeah, Tate's done a great job here of driving through the field, even with a couple of cautions, to put himself in a chance to at least pick up some stage points when we get there at the halfway point. We'll see how far he can drive up through the field.
With Nick Massey dominating like this, it's going to be tough for anybody to get any advantage. As Tate's going to spin Dylan Thomas, and Vince gets into Tate. Oh, and Vince ends up with the worst of it. I don't know if Dylan Thomas checked up that bad or not, but Tate Lytle drove it off into turn 1 and spun the 0-3. Let's take a look. Here we go. Tate drives it in. Dylan, I don't know, man. That looked pretty straightforward there. And Tate gets hit by Vince, and Vince and Tate just bounce off each other there. So
Pit stops.
Let's see. I think some guys are going to come in, some guys are going to stay out here. Scott Crum's one of the ones on pit road. Cooper Johnson's on pit road.
Probably say
Seth Rawls.
close to half the field here, maybe.
Ryan Lutz pit? Ryan Lutz pitted. Kwame Scott pits. That's an interesting move.
Scott's going to be the first off pit road.
The cars that stayed out here: Nick Massey, Cameron Rich, Matthew Weeks, Jared Mogard, Andy Trupiano, Chris Wright, Damian Leininger, Ethan Burrell, and Gavin Hibbs, and Hank Steinmiller. That's the 10 cars that stay out here.
Think there's really a difference between these two groups here, David?
Well, the tires definitely wear, but I think the bigger difference is now Nick Massey's going to be looking at pitting his car later on, right? he'll probably, if this thing goes green, Massey will pull out to a pretty big lead. Kwame Scott will have to battle his way through the field. By the time he gets to Massey, I'm certain the tire difference will be kind of reduced. But if this thing goes caution, 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 like it has kind of been going, that difference is battling through these guys is going to be very difficult for those cars on the tires because they really won't have anywhere to go. But now's the time to try something.
He's got a banged up Ethan Burrell car in front of him. Damian Leininger's got some pretty significant damage.
Yeah, a number of these guys have come in down pit road already. Burrell, Leininger, Hibbs, Steinmiller, all of them have tires. The question for them is the damage. And also, just so we don't forget this time, there are only 5 sets of tires. So these guys have to pick and choose when to use them. A number of these guys haven't used them. The front 5 at least have not pitted, so those guys will still have all the sets of tires. Everybody else has probably already used a set. Oh yeah, so Chris Wright also hasn't pitted yet.
Getting ready to go green once again. Different front row this time. Nick Massey, Cameron Rich.
Massey's been very, very good out in front. I can't help but wonder if he's put down some quality laps. He seems to be very good in this clean air. No wonder that he won the pole, has led every lap so far. You got Cameron Rich there in second and Matthew Weeks in third. We'll see if any of these guys have anything for Nick Massey and whether or not Kwame Scott, Dallas Myhand, Austin Beers, and Ryan Lutz can claw their way through the field.
Another good start here for Nick Massey.
Scott's going 3 wide back here around Hibbs and Leininger. Oh, there it is.
There we go! That's what we talked about in the open.
I don't know if Kwame's even going to have that much damage there, but we saw it back at Martinsville. I wish we could pull up a replay. Not necessarily a replay of this, but at Martinsville, Kwame Scott wrecked Damian Leininger for the win. Damian viewed it in his mind as a season-ruining wreck, where that was his opportunity to pick up a win. Now they make contact down the back straightaway.
Only thing on Damian there is he kind of wrecked himself more than he wrecked Kwame Scott.
Yeah, he sure did. He paid the price for it. Did Damian get loose coming off a 2?
I don't know.
It kind of, he started wiggling. He hit the wall.
It looked like a pretty abrupt left-hand turn. I mean, he might have got a little loose, but I don't think he really tried to correct it too hard.
Let's do him. Once he realized.
And some people might say that, why would he do it now? But if that's what he had planned, he had the opportunity. You don't know if you're going to have that opportunity later in the race.
Yeah, and I would say Kwame's probably thanking his lucky stars right now. He's mad in the voice chat, obviously, but he needs to be thanking his lucky stars that car's not more damaged. Because, we look back think back to Martinsville again. It just, Damian was wiped completely out, lost the win. And as it is there, Kwame looks like he might still have a chance to win this race. That car does not look too badly damaged.
Well, there's still one other guy that might have a say in something if he really wants to.
Yep, he's right behind him. That being said, we look at this points battle once again, and it is Richmond. So at the end of the day, the cleanest car doesn't always win the race. This is why, though, I wouldn't want to pit it if I was Nick Massey. You don't want to be back in the scrum of cars trying to battle their way through, and then that's the other reason you don't want to be making enemies on the racetrack, because you never know what happens late in a season. Ryan Lutz did get by Dallas Myhand and Austin Beers, so the cars with tires sit 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Tate Lytle's 14th. Looks like he made it through that unscathed.
Getting ready to go green once again.
Sure are. We'll have to see whether or not the fresh tires actually have a chance to run through the field, and we'll have to see whether or not Kwame Scott's damage is severe.
Like you were saying earlier, David, with how many cautions there's been already, it might be tough for these guys to get through the field alone, having a long enough run to kind of make their way through. So we'll see how it works. Nick Massey again on the restart. Ended up pretty well against Cameron Rich.
Right, Lutz jumps to the inside of Kwame Scott right here, and that'll be the battle for the top car on tires. Lutz's car working well on the bottom, but he's trapped in behind Ethan Burrell. Now Austin Beers to the inside of Lutz. Oh, Lutz is going to get spun. Dallas Myhand, and looks like Tate Lytle's going to be involved.
I don't know, it might have just been me, but it looked like he was getting spun, but it almost looked like he was trying to get to that 99 to get him involved too, but that could just be my personal opinion.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. It looked almost like Lutz wheel hopped it going in.
No,
just
I don't
completely missed the corner.
I don't think he was trying to do anything intentionally. I think it was just he got spun out, but it just barely missed the 99 there in the corner.
That one was a pretty heavy championship implication, though, and it was an innocent bystander. Tate Lytle absolutely gets the worst end of this. Ryan Lutz says he locked up that left front, and that's what I see there is...
No, I agree. Yeah, it was not intentional at all, but I'm just saying, like, it was that close from Kwame being involved in another wreck right there.
Very close. Tough break for Tate, tough break for Johnny Thomas right here on the top. Just absolutely nowhere to go when Lutz gets sideways. My hand's going to end up in the fence. Some of these guys did pile in there, though, too.
Johnny's been in the heat of it all night long.
All this behind Nick Massey, who has to be just enjoying everything.
He's had to go quite a few pages into his playbook here on restarts, though.
Massey, Rich, Jared Mogard, the top three, just with no tires. They haven't pitted, but why pit? You end up in this scrum. Dallas Myhand pitted from 4th. He's got a bunch of right side damage, potentially suspension damage. They'll restart 11th, but I don't think that car is going to be driving nearly as good as it was before. Tate's come down pit road to try to fix damage a couple of times, but that car has no nose now, and any points he gains tonight will be significant.
So just looking, Kwame's sitting in 8th, so he will have a shot at picking up. We still got about 40 laps to get there, but he's still got a chance at picking up some halfway points. Nick's obviously in an ideal situation right now, and Tate is hurting right now.
Yeah. He's the one that I think gets the worst amount of disable the voice chat. There's a lot of speaking going on over there, but there's an issue I think with Port Tate. He's not going to be able to make up points today, and that may seal the deal for his championship hopes. From turn 4 at Talladega, where he was sitting pretty, 48 laps into Richmond, it's looking like he might be all he wrote.
It's crazy how momentum can shift too. Just thinking about that, you know, we talked about it was 4 straight races. He was first or second, looking like a championship favorite coming into Talladega, and now maybe a best of third.
Spins the tires on the restart there. Everybody scatters. Mogart's challenging Rich for second. Wright's gotten through. They're 3 wide down the back.
Yeah, that's a dangerous spot to be.
Dallas Mahan's car is extremely badly damaged. He's on the bottom, trying to get out of the way here. Front 4 kind of broke away. Austin Beers is driven to 5th.
Ayuk just got Dylan Thomas there spinning on the back.
Mahan, Goodman, and more. Goody's an innocent bystander in this one, pal. Buddy, teammate over at South Shore Racing.
He kind of turned down into my hand. I don't know if he got help from behind, but definitely started it.
Turned it left, coming off the corner. You got to straighten the wheel, Goody. Yeah, I think so. It's an easy mistake to make, but also you got turn 2 at Richmond. Turn 2 at Richmond too. You know you're trying to turn it down off the wall. Always trying to ensure that you don't drive up into the car next to you. And I think he even got hit by Robert Hill, so he was probably overcorrecting, overestimating for that. Winds up wiping himself and Dallas out.
I think Dallas actually kept it off the wall there. Did not hit that inside wall.
And a reminder that Dallas could absolutely have cut them a break. He did just fall back 20 spots through the field. They're running for 25th there. And, you don't have to go 3 wide coming out of turn 2 if you can help it. But then again, it looked kind of like Goody spun himself out. So if that was going to happen anyway, then Dallas was going to get sucked up into it no matter what.
Well, for those of the guys that pitted, the tire strategy definitely has not been able to play itself out.
Sebeers is up to 5th. He's got the freshest tires. Kwame Scott's 6th with some newly acquired damage. Seth Rawls is 7th among those having guys. I think Cooper Johnson's got tires. He'll be 8th. So those will be your front 4 or 5 once this front group pits. But I imagine Massey's plan is to stay out to lap 80 here. Massey, or I guess, yeah, 85. He'll try to get that halfway stage point. 10 points, and once he gets there, if he'll have to pit after that, because you will have to pit in this race, and I'm sure Austin Beers, Kwame Scott, those guys are thinking they may not pit again. Leto comes back down pit road again. He's hovering around 28th to 31st. Just cracked the top 10 is Nick and Delicato, and all this chaos up at the front. While it's Nick Massey's best friend, it's also giving Nick and Delicato an opportunity to, start cutting into that 26-point deficit there, as he's maybe the only other driver capable of winning the championship at this point. So all this chaos, certainly the friend of Nick and Delicato, as long as he doesn't get sucked up into it.
Oh, he's picking up points on Tate, for what would move him into the top 3, but he's still losing points here to Kwame at the time being. So, still losing about another 2 points right now. So.
Yeah, they'll have to make up a few spots, but that 99 car is a little bit damaged, and both of them have tires. Although Delicato's been involved in his fair share of incidents tonight. That car, not clean, just not nearly as damaged, maybe, as that 99.
Lights out on the pace car. Here we go again. 6th restart of the night on lap 56.
As he goes, Beers again with a bit of a slow restart, opening the door for Kwame Scott to clear him on the outside here. Kwame tried to shut the door on Beers. Beers kind of forced his nose in there. Massey just blinked out for a good bit. Beers to the inside of Kwame Scott coming off turn 4.
Typical Nick Massey blink there out front. Got a couple battles going on here. Seth Rawls on the move under Cooper Johnson, right behind Beers and Scott now.
For the first car on tires, definitely a heated one. Beers gets it into 3 a little hot. That car rotating a little bit better than that 99 right now on the top of the racetrack. Austin Beers up to 5th. Beers now going for 4th on Mogard. Kwame's going to go to the bottom. Beers throws the block.
Beers being aggressive here for this position. It's going to allow Seth Rawls to get in the mix as well.
Beers blocking again. Kwame spears into turn 1.
This could get interesting here. Kwame's patience could be getting low.
I think Beers liked being hit into turn 1. He slowed up again in the middle of turn 2. Now he's let Kwame get by, and now he gives Kwame a little shot. And I don't think Austin Beers is very happy with Kwame Scott after running him like that.
Kwame's got to be careful. He's already got payback number 1. A couple other guys here that could potentially, but you don't want to make anybody else mad. And Beers is a guy that's got a fast race car tonight, contend for this win, and now is sitting right behind you.
Austin Beers just all over the back bumper, and Nick Massey, Kwame Scott, he'll dive back to the bottom again. All this has allowed those front 4 to just pull away.
Scott pushes him down to the bottom there again in the corner.
Nick and Delicato has risen up to 7th. He's right there. Oh, contact entering 3. Beers went in a little bit high, and he shoves Kwame Scott up the track, opens the door for Nick and Delicato.
Seth Rawls is going to try to take advantage as well. He dives it on in there, gets underneath the quarter panel of Scott. Scott will clear him down the backstretch, though.
It's now the one on the move as Beers and Delicato work their way off a 4. Nick and Delicato looking to the inside of Austin Beers. Rawls looking to the inside of Kwame Scott.
This would be big, too, as we close in on 20 to go to the halfway point. If these guys keep freight training Kwame Scott, contact between Rawls and Scott.
Everybody bouncing off the 99 car tonight. Kind of thing you got to endure if you're going to win a championship, though. I mean, Scott's car seems like it's lost a step, but it isn't the slowest car out there. As Beers waiting for that 99 again.
If Scott keeps moving backwards here, it's only going to open the door for Nick Massey even more. Looks like Scott Crump's back there in that 51 car. Seems like it's got a little bit of speed here, too. That might be able to challenge for a position here in a couple laps.
Scott Crump and Gavin Hibbs ran into each other, and that caused an incident with Ethan Burrell. Now they're side by side for the 9th spot. Aaron Rich has fallen off and Nick Massey by a solid 0.7 of a second up front. You're not missing anything. This is the best battle on the racetrack.
Yeah, and there's kind of a couple different packs right now while we look at that battle. The front two have pulled away. Wright, Mogard, and Indelicado are a 3-car pack together, tucked in line on the bottom line through 3 and 4 here, and then we get back to that battle that we were watching where it seems like they've kind of separated themselves from the rest of the pack while they've been going at each other.
This is all for 6th behind Austin Beers. Beers almost pulling up Fernando Alonso right now, running his own pace and kind of stacking this whole field up behind him. And Delicado's up here sitting in 5th and has pulled away from Beers. He'll be the first car on fresh tires. But with a run this long, everybody might come down pit road the next time it's available.
Scott Crump got around Gavin Hibbs for the 9th position. That puts him right behind Seth Rawls.
Damian Leininger and Ethan Burrell side by side right there. Burrell's got the freshest tires of this group. He came down pit road after, I believe, the caution with Tate Lytle and Ryan Lutz. So Burrell has the freshest tires of anybody in this pack now by just a couple of laps, but it's a significant enough advantage that he is moving forward pretty quickly.
That is 14th, and all these cars, if they continue to run single file behind these guys, like David said, Beer's kind of stacking these guys up, allowing everybody from behind to kind of close in on this third bank. Here goes Scott Crump pulling out of line. He's going to take a look underneath Seth Rawls. Couldn't quite get there. He'll pull back into line.
Beers has picked the pace up a good amount here, and he has run down Jared Mogard pretty quickly. They're closing in on the back bumper of the 00. Chris Wright as well. These guys are about 2 seconds off of Nick Massey, so Indelicado's gotten in front of Mogard, but Beers has moved them forward now, and he's started to really pick up the pace and stretch the gap back to Kwame Scott.
And he has started to pull away slightly from Kwame Scott as well, that 99 car. A little bit of a gap now in between him and Beers.
Cooper Johnson got into the wall a little bit, slid down to the bottom of the racetrack, opens the door for Matthew Weeks. That'll be for 12th. Beers is pulled away from Kwame. Seth Rawls all over the back bumper of the 99. Here comes Hibbs trying to get under Crump. He'll have to bail out of it.
The guy that's joined the battle all of a sudden right there, right behind Hibbs, is Ethan Burrell, the 37 car, looking to try to crack the top 10.
Seth Rawls banging into the back bumper of Kwame Scott. He wants by that 99 car. He feels like he's got a better machine now. Comes to the bottom. Seth Rawls.
And Seth's a guy that's not afraid to use that bumper. He'll move you up out of the line here and there.
Kwame pinching Seth down, trying to
got
hold him
loose.
off.
Seth got loose exiting the corner there.
Yep, Kwame drips up the track. Here comes Seth again.
While he does that, Ethan Burrell goes underneath Hibbs for the 10th position.
Burrell's on the charge. That 37 car real fast. Crump looking to try to slide underneath Kwame Scott once Rawls clears. Rawls sideways off the corner.
They're wrecking by Kleininger, Trupiano around.
Haydenshaw's going to pound the wall. Almost drove right into Damien.
Yeah, I was going to say, this actually might be Kwame Scott's best friend right here. He's in the 8th position, and he had Scott Crump and Ethan Burrell right on the bumper of Seth Rawls, which would have moved him out of the top 10 and out of points-paying positions for the halfway point.
He turned and drove it in there. Just dumped Damian Leininger. Oof. Trying to go 3 wide at Richmond off of 2. We've already seen it not work a couple of times, and it again doesn't work. Just not a lane there. Beers coming down pit road. Rich coming down pit road.
Massey
Guys
stays
with nothing
out.
to lose. Yeah, guys with nothing to lose coming down pit road right there. With Cameron Rich, he's running for the race win. You pit right here. You don't have to pit again. Same thing for Austin Beers. These guys are focused on that race win. Nick Massey's focused on the halfway points. That may put him behind his closest competitors because Massey's going to need to come down pit road at some point in this race.
Yeah, interesting point to see where Kwame comes out on pit road here. He could potentially come out in the top 10.
I don't think he will. I think he's going to be much further back than that.
Yeah,
he's also
no,
fixing
he's
some
gonna be
damage.
deep.
Kwame's fixing damage on pit road. They're coming off of 4 right here. Should we? Should we talk to Mr. Beers? Alrighty. Moved him to the waiting room. Austin Beers, is David in the booth? You got me?
I got you.
Hey man, what? We saw a little beating and banging in there on the last run. Did you feel slighted, or what was going on?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, the people are trying to wreck this 99 car, and I'm starting to see why. I think his talent level is really high, and his brain capacity is a little low. So it's just unfortunate. I'm trying to race everybody clean, but when you guys got guys out there like that, it's unfortunate to have to race against them.
You looking for to stay out the rest of the way here and not pit again?
I'll probably come back down. I'll burn these tires up, and I won't leave any stickers left in the pits.
10-4, man. Well, good luck out there tonight. And I did pick you, by the way, so I think you got a good shot at it.
Yeah, the car's been pretty good. I'm adapting to this track pretty well, so we'll see how it goes.
Alrighty, man. Well, thank you so much, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks.
Austin Beers.
So David, whether we said that Damian took his shot, he probably didn't get as much damage as he would have liked, but it is going to play a big factor here in the championship, at least early on. Kwame's going to be most likely out of a points-paying position here at the halfway point, which Massey's going to capitalize on and pick up 10, plus a bonus point for leading a lap, and the way he's going could lead the most laps. So that right there could close that championship right up.
Absolutely. It's Massey, though. The issue for Mick Massey now is that he's staying out to pick up these bonus points. They'll be coming up halfway at lap 85. So Massey will have to take the green here, and Delicato could get by him, but in every point Massey picks up is a gain on Tate Lytle and Kwame Scott, who are his two closest competitors. The problem is I think Cameron Rich and Austin Beers have the right strategy right here. I think those guys pitting right there, that was the play, and Massey would have been restarting in like ninth spot. You see right there where Beers is, that's where Massey would have been restarting. He would have picked up those points anyway had he managed to make that call to pit right there. I know you don't ever want to pit out of the lead, but then you could just stay out the rest of the race.
28th and 31st right now are where his two championship competitors are at.
Yep. Huge opportunity for Nick Massey and Nick and Delicato right here, and Delicato can get back into this championship with a good run here, and he's going to have a huge run on the outside on Nick Massey. Massey's got those older tires.
See if Massey can hold it off, coming to the line. Still got 5 laps to go before we hit that point, and Delicato, it's going to be our first lead change of the night.
1 point for Nick and Delicato, another +1. Where Nick Massey or where Kwame Scott and Tate Lytle have not been able to grab one. Also, we'll almost definitely be seeing a +1 in Nick Massey's favor for the most laps led. Unless Delicato leads every lap from this point forward, I don't think only Massey can get that most laps led. Here goes Mogard to the bottom. Massey's just going to try to hang on at this point. They are 3 wide behind Rich, Beers. Burrell hit the wall.
Beers and Rich made contact. Oh, right's around.
Rich, right, Beers, Burrell, oh man, they're all into the wall. And Cameron Rich squirts through. He'll be unscathed, and Delicato will win the stage with that.
That probably just saved Nick Massey from losing out on about 3 or 4 points.
Yeah. I don't know if Massey would have lost more than just that 3rd spot to Mogard, but that absolutely does end the stage there. 9 points for Nick Massey. He'll almost certainly come to pit road this time as Rich gets into right. They were trying to maintain that 3 wide. We saw it again. 3 wide Richmond, not going to work. We might need to take another look at that one. I wonder if Chris Wright came across Cam's nose there, coming off the 2.
A little contact.
Contact. Cameron Rich said, "Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. You drove into my door with my right front fender. Didn't appreciate that so much." We at the end of 85 yet? I think we're 1 more lap away from stage. I don't know if Nick Massey can pit. He's got to wait for the stage to hit. So you'll see right there the top 10 on your left: Indelicato, Massey, Mogard, Crump, Cameron Rich, Ethan Burrell, Seth Rawls, Austin Beers, Cooper Johnson, Gavin Hibbs. That is your top 10 for the stage.
So is it right now?
It will conclude after this lap.
Okay.
But that's where everybody needed to hit. So those are your points. Tate Lytle, no points. He's down in 20th. Kwame Scott, no stage points. He's down in 25th. Nick Massey with 9 and Delicato with 10. So Delicato only picks up 1 on Massey, but he was only 10 behind Massey to start.
And now it's a 5-point battle between Scott and Massey. Was 15 coming in.
Right, Massey was 16 back. He led the lap. He's going to have led the most laps. Massey's, in fact, going to take the pit stop right here.
No, he's not.
Ooh, he faked it. It's the end of this lap, so he might have lost spots going across the line.
I think he's actually 6th. Or 6 back now. He was 16 coming in, 9 for the stage, 1 for leading a lap. It'll close down to 1 if he leads a significant portion here at the second half of the race.
+9, +1 for leading, +1 for probably leading the most laps. We can probably chalk that one up to him. That gives him a 7-point gap to Kwame, and then the position finish at the end of the race.
Yes, Carlos, thank you for the graphic. That's what's going to be here for the next race and a half, trying to figure this out.
Oh, yeah. Nick Delicato's doing that in his car with a calculator, you know what I mean? Trying to figure out how many points he needs to pick up on these guys. Already a +10 on both Kwame and Tate, so Indelicato narrowing that gap up, making this a true 4-horse fight to the championship.
Yeah,
And
with those 10, he should have passed Tate now.
when you look at, Indelicato and Massey, they are going to have to pit again, I believe, and they'll end up packing this pack, and they could very well end up the next car spun out by a bad 3-wide maneuver. So this thing is far from over.
Yeah, Tate Lytle, if it were to finish right now, would be 4th in the championship standings.
I think he'd have a chance. I think he would to win it anyway. His chief competitor, he's ahead of by 1 spot.
It's definitely just going to make things tighter. Here we go. Nick and Delicato are going to be the first car to initiate the restart other than Nick Massey here tonight.
He brought him down real slow, then got a really good jump. Massey's in trouble now, though. That 48 car's starting to give up a little bit, having 85-lap tires.
He needs a quick caution here.
I think he might get one. They are wild right now. Cooper Johnson fired it in there, looking for 3 wide. Cameron Rich looking for 3 wide. Mogard and Massey. And now Cameron Rich up to 2nd. Here comes
Austin.
Beers.
Yep, he's going to dive underneath. I thought about it. Decided to back out.
Respectful move there by Beers. He very well could have taken them 3 wide again. That would have just been another one of those situations. He's going to do it this time, though. Gavin Hibbs bounces it off the fence above him. There, Joe Beers almost runs into Crump, but he'll take 2 spots and now go after Jared Mogard.
3 wide back here by Kwame Scott, Weeks, Steinmiller, Thomas.
So much going on right now. You got Isabella right there on the bottom of the racetrack. Bayuk as well, trying to move back forward. A bunch of these guys have already been damaged.
Tate is just behind that group, right behind Steinmiller.
Oh, so
Cameron
we do.
Rich. Cameron Rich to the point.
And I think that was inevitable. Cameron Rich goes flying up to the front, takes the lead away. That's the strategy, though, right? He and Austin Beers are on this strategy. They are going to stay out the rest of the way. Unless Beers comes back in like he said he would if he burns up his tires. But the smart play here is to presume those cautions are bouncing off each other. Burrell and Garrett Turner.
Oh, Johnny's around. Into Tate.
Oh, big wreck there. Tate's in the inside wall hard. Might end the day for the 83 car. That's not good.
The other thing that we need to mention or bring up is the X rule still in effect, too.
Yes, it is. Yeah, 25X. Some of these guys are going to get close to that, I think, tonight. This was completely not Tate's fault. This thing stacks up way in front, and Dallas Myhan runs into Johnny, which pushes Tate into the inside wall, gets Damien caught up, among others. Delicato and Massey heading down pit road.
Nick doesn't have a choice this time. He has to come down.
Yep, now's the time, and the two of them are going to be putting their cleaner cars at risk here by dropping into the Hornet's nest.
They could make it to the end though from here, you think?
I think just about everybody can. They'll have the freshest tires, but man, they're going to be behind Kwame Scott. They're going to be behind guys who've just wrecked a number of times tonight. Like, it's going to be a very, very difficult climb through the field for those guys. If they're able to make it, I think that'll do it. But I think Cameron Rich and Austin Beers have done the right strategy, where you kind of ignore those playoff points and you go ahead and go down and get your tires before that halfway marker. Now you can stay out, get that track position, stay up front, stay clean the rest of the way in the second half of this race.
Both of them are kind of in a position though where they can afford to do that. Beers obviously not in the playoff at all. Cameron Rich, a very outside chance now of being in it. But I mean, if these guys finish in the 30th place position, it could put Cameron with a less than outside chance here heading into next week.
He's gonna need a monster issue to happen, I think, to end up in this fight. But he's not mathematically out of it. And with, you know, let's say he picks up 25 or 30 points tonight on all four of them, if all four of them end up in an incident, as Tate Lytle's already been in an incident, Kwame Scott's been in one, Massey and Delicato are currently going to restart way down there.
That's what I'm saying. If they get stuck back there, it all of a sudden puts them roughly 20 points out, which you would still need some help next week, but would put them in a lot better position.
If the race were to end right now, Kwame would have a 10, I think, point lead, maybe an 11-point lead on Nick Massey. And then that would be like a 17-point lead on a Delicato, and I think Cameron would be at like 30 back from being 56 back before this race, and 30 is makeable, you know, completely makeable. Hey. Shh.
Carlos, why don't you make sure you, I know you got a lot going on, but make sure you can help us out with the math. Make sure we're doing it right.
Yeah, we used to do it when I announced for Elite Racing. We used to do a spreadsheet of the points, and as they ran, we could update it and then post the spreadsheet on the screen to show off where the points were. So under caution, we would do that. That was pretty cool, but with the halfway points and stuff, it's a little difficult.
That's very involved.
We'll reset the running order here for you as we're 1 to green. Cameron Rich, the leader. Austin Beers in second. Sherald Campbell, who's been around backwards a couple of times, he's third. Gavin Hibbs has been around, he's fourth. Wesley Crump's up to fifth. Cooper Johnson's been off the second turn wall about 5 times tonight, he's in sixth. Dylan Thomas is wrecked tonight, he's seventh. Matthew Bayuk's been wrecked tonight, he's eighth. Garen Turner's wrecked somebody tonight, he's ninth. Vincent Isabella's up to 10th, he's been out and around, and I think he bounced off at Tate Lytle's left front and shot up in the air. He's in 10th, so it don't matter. As long as you're out there, you got a chance.
Beers goes with Rich here on the restart.
Cameron Rich has a good jump. That 47 car is gone.
So it seems Beers is going to close in here through turns 1 and 2, and he's going to be right on the back of that 47 car. Around goes Turner.
Beers trying to get the lead before the caution. I don't think he got it. I think it's still going to be Cameron Rich. Yep, Beers has to let Cameron Rich by. He almost had the lead. What a great run out of 2 by Austin Beers. I think Garen Turner's just going to do what Michael Goodman did earlier and just, nope.
Net code off Isabella, maybe?
I think we might need a different look and different angle at that one. I think he came up and bounced off the side of the 15, but we'll see. Down, up.
Oh, I think Isabella got
15
into
hits the wall.
Yeah.
Turn 2 wall. We've documented it all day. Plenty of people have bounced off of it. It's almost been like a Darlington strike. Hit the turn 2 wall at Richmond. Vincent gonna get it and then come down just a little bit across that 20 car. It does look like netcode from this angle though. That they probably shouldn't have touched. And out of the top 10 goes Garen Turner into the wall hard with the nose. That's another point for somebody like Tate Lytle who's on pit road trying to get that damage fixed. Someone else that Tate can potentially outrun the rest of this race. Among the shuffling in the top 10, Cooper Johnson took 5th away from Wesley Crump there. And into the top 10 now with the dropping of Garen Turner goes Trey Holmes, the 24 car. Kwame Scott is up to 13th, and Delicato got to 14th on that restart. Nick Massey restarted 18th. He stayed in 18th. He did not start moving forward, and Delicato did.
Mind you, Nick's been already through the field once today, helped out with some pit strategy and other things, but he's had to already come from the back once, started deep in the field here off the initial start, unlike Nick, who started on the pole. Now trying to make his way through for the first time.
Right, and Delicato's been racing amongst the crowds a lot this evening, and Nick Massey's been out front. So, the ability to handle that dirty air could, be the key here for Nick and Delicato, where he's already got a pretty sizable buffer between himself and Nick Massey. Ethan Burrell's on pit road. What wreck was he involved in? He must have been involved in one of them.
I think he's been
Oh, you know
in
what?
a couple.
It was the one. It was the one in 3 and 4 there. What was it for Ethan Burrell? He got wadded up.
How about Gavin Hibbs hanging in the top 5 here after getting spun early in the race?
Yeah, good run for Gavin. See if he can keep it up. He had a top 10 run going in a couple of these races so far, and he's ended up getting wadded up in a couple of them, so. See if he can keep it going.
Trey Holmes into the top 10 now.
Joe Francis is up to 11th. We haven't said his name at all tonight. He's managed to have a really strong run. Coming off the heels of a pretty dominant performance at Talladega. That the result, I believe, was a top 5, but I don't think that showed just how good that 50 car was. He and Gerald Campbell were working really well together. Gerald's up here in 3rd.
Banged up 31 car, but he is in there in the 3rd position.
Cameron Rich changes that timing up a little bit. It's going to give him a bigger advantage on Austin Beers this time.
He goes
Beers
up the
down,
track, though.
Beers goes down the cover on Campbell. Campbell drives it off into turn 1, slides up the track. Here comes Gavin Hibbs for 3rd. Cooper's looking for it on the bottom as well.
They're looking to rack again back outside the top 10.
Of course they are. It's iRacing. Matthew Bayuk on the outside of Cooper Johnson. Now that's for 7th. As Crump and Campbell battle behind Hibbs, who takes 3rd away.
2 by 2 by 2 outside the top 10. Nick Massey. Mogard.
I thought Mogard was going to wreck. It's right in front of Nick Massey and Indelicato.
I think that's the second or third time Mogard here since the restart's taken place. He's had to dive out like that to avoid something.
Right behind Kwame Scott is Nick Indelicato. Then there's Mogard, and then Nick Massey's kind of trailing them on the top of the racetrack. Massey just unable to get through this traffic as well as Indelicato. Joe Francis on the bottom, and Vincent Isabella has shot through this top 10. He's up to 6th now. He's battling Gerald Campbell.
15 car on the move.
Isabella's maybe the cleanest of them all. All his damage felt like netcode between him and Tate. Bounced that 15 car on the racetrack and spun him out, but I don't think he ever hit the wall very hard.
Might have a
Contact
slight.
between Bayuk and Campbell. Campbell goes up the track. Still 3 wide off the corner. Kwame
No,
Scott from the bottom.
I was looking there at Isabella for a second. I thought he might have had some slight contact to the rear of that car, but it looks like it's pretty clean. 3 wide. Campbell, Weeks, and Delicato. That could have been dangerous.
Right amongst all the championship contenders right there. Massey's again going to get kind of slowed up by this. And Kwame Scott has worked his way into the top 10. He's up to 10th.
Top.
He's going inside of Trey Holmes.
Dylan Thomas got to throw a block on him there for a second.
Going Holmes side by side. Kwame's going to take it 3 wide to the bottom. Dylan covers that. And a Delicato to the top on Kwame Scott.
This could be interesting. The 4 championship contenders going to try to split Dylan Thomas here.
Delicato up top. Fresh tires on the 0-1 car. He's showing off his ability to drive through traffic. He passes Kwame Scott. He's going to go around Dylan Thomas. Going to cut to the bottom and go around Trey Holmes too. What a move by Nick and Delicato.
Nick Massey started to get it rolling a little bit here too. He's going to go to the inside of Kwame, but he's blocked by Mogard up there on the high lane.
See up top, that 48 car trying to roll, but he's just way behind Delicato right here.
Cut Dylan Thomas there a break.
Massey just, and Delicato being aggressive going through this field, it's a lot better off as Thomas doesn't give Kwame any room.
I don't think anybody's really giving Kwame any room at this point.
It's a short track and they know he's got a big points lead. Meanwhile, up front, Austin Beers has run down Cameron Rich, but he has just chilled behind at about 0.2 of a second. Has not moved closer, has not fallen back at all. And the caution is
Caution's out.
Trying to check through the field. It's Dallas Myhand is the one around. Garrett Turner, Chris Wright. Looks like Myhand got hit by Turner. Chris Wright's going to get sucked up into this. Garrett Turner towed. His night will be done. And that is a point for Tate Lytle. Tate was well behind this. Almost, half a lap down right there.
All right, so again, caution comes out. That'll give us a chance to catch our breath here with still 55 or so laps left to go.
Austin Beers looking to go down pit road right here. That would be a huge boon for Nick Massey. Yep, sure is going to be. Beers, Cooper Johnson, Gavin Hibbs all headed down pit road.
Rich and Crump, the only 2. Looks like Scott's going to stay out along with Wesley. It's going to put Nick Massey in the top 4.
Nick Massey stays out. And Nick and Delicato down pit road. Wonder if Delicato was burning those tires up. Felt it, in that 0-1 car. He's one of the best at saving tires and, managing on the long run and managing cutting through the field. He goes down pit road to go ahead and put another set on here. And, that puts him further back in the field once again because Nick Massey's going to get a bonus on him here. And a number of guys are going to be in front of Matt and Delicato right here. He's going to fall outside the top 10.
Well, we need to give this guy a shout out real quick because this is going to be his last race here this season, running Johnny Thomas.
Yep. He's been involved in a number of incidents tonight, but old Johnny's had a pretty decent run. And is he coming up to the booth with us, or what's going on next week at?
Yeah, he's going to come. Yep, he's going to come finish out the season with us up here.
Awesome. We'll have to have Johnny up here. He's always fun. He always gives us a great opportunity with this league, and he's put us all together. And I think it's a good little broadcast room and a good production studio, and everybody works together really well. So, and that all comes from Johnny. So to re-rack, Cameron Rich, Wesley Crump, Scott Crump, Nick Massey, Hank Steinmiller, the top 5. Johnny Thomas is 6th. Those are the 6 that have stayed out. Jaron Mogard's on 2 tires in 7th. Austin Beers has 4 tires in 8th. Cooper Johnson, Vincent Isabella round out the top 10. Matthew Bayuk is 11th. Nick and Delicato is back in 12th. Joe Francis and then Kwame Scott in 14th. Tate Lytle pitted again for more damage repair. He is 30th, or 31st rather. Gavin Hibbs, he's still sitting on pit road. I'm not entirely sure what happened to Gavin Hibbs, but from the top 5, he pits and no longer seems to be running very well. I'm not entirely sure what happened to him. We cursed it though, I tell you what.
Yeah, we did.
But Hibbs back on track. Tate Lytle's back out.
Well, massive break for Nick Massey there. We'll see how well it works out.
Yeah, and that could have been an opportunity for Massey to come down pit road, pick up some tires, and stay on the same strategy as Nick and Delicato. What with, almost 52 laps to go.
I have a feeling that's not going to be the last pit stop for the night.
Massey's finally got some track position again, and he does have fresh tires compared to this group around him. So we'll see if Massey can make up some of this ground. Green flag back in the air. Cameron Rich with another huge jump.
Massey went with him, but Wesley Crump did not, and that really hurt Nick Massey.
Massey's just had some questionable pit calls here tonight. And Jared Mogard to the bottom. That's the first of the tires. Beers right behind. Mogard going to take him 3 wide underneath Steinmiller right in front of Massey. Everybody holds okay for now. Caution's out behind. Seth Rawls involved. Might just be Seth Rawls. Might have been a solo spin. Harrison Talon as well. They hook together. Oh, Dylan Thomas gets the 0-2. Talon spins. Rawls comes down and gets Dylan again. And loops the 0-2 again. So more damaged race cars and more caution laps.
I don't really think Nick Massey's pit choice hurt him there. I think Wesley Crump hurt him by spinning the tires on the restart, and it really backed everybody on that top line up and allowed all these guys to get by.
The one issue I see, though, is that Massey, when Mogard got next to him, Massey had no drive off the corner. Those tires are already kind of old. And Mogard and Beers were able to just scoot right on by. I'm looking at this 48 car, and I'm just not seeing the winning strategy. You're not Cameron Rich right here. You don't have the lead. You don't have the ability to check out before the quick cautions. So he's going to get swallowed up by the pack, and at some point it's going to be beneficial to pit again. But you could have already done that, pitted and been out in 12th or 13th right here, and then been working your way forward with the rest of them. This race just seems to have gone awry a little bit for Nick Massey, and it's going to challenge him.
It's kind of been a theme the last couple weeks since Chris Wright's been in the 95 car.
Absolutely right. Though we did miscount the tires at Atlanta. We were chastising a bunch of guys for staying out late in that race, and they had literally run out of tires. They were forced to stay out. They are limited on how many tires they can take in this race as well, but I ultimately don't think that they'll get to five times they've taken tires.
47 to go, coming to 46 to go. Tough to see another pit stop, I think.
Right, and Massey had the opportunity to take it there, and he, instead of being the guy on the charge, he is now the guy trying to defend with old tires, and that just makes it extremely taxing on someone who had the dominant car of the day early in this race. The dominant car right now is Cameron Rich. He's nailed every restart so far, but fresh tires are sitting 4th and 6th on the outside lane, so if Scott Crump doesn't get going very fast, then they'll be falling further back. But if he gets a good start, those tires are going to be right up on Cameron Rich here.
Rich, also one of the guys kind of stuck out there on older tires.
Yeah, but his bed is made, right? Cameron Rich is the race leader. He's in control of the field. He's got everything you could possibly want other than the fresh tires. And so he's going to hope he doesn't lose this lead. Once he loses the lead, Cameron Rich doesn't have anything to lose. He'll come down pit road, he'll get tires, he'll try to work his way back through the field. But what Cameron Rich is going to bank on is that there will be no runs later in this race longer than 5-6 laps. And in that instance, Cameron Rich would probably come home your winner. Stack them up here. The Crump brothers second and third behind Cameron Rich. Jared Mogard's 2 tires sitting in fourth. Those look to be moving pretty well. Mogard didn't seem to be out of control, and he hasn't been in contention for a race win since Daytona. And it's my pick, Austin Beers there in sixth, fresh tires. Cooper Johnson's right behind him in eighth. And those are the top 3 guys with some form of tire. Delicato's trying to go underneath Massey.
3 wide right in front of that, though.
Austin Beers to the inside of Mogard. Beers at the middle of the racetrack.
Wesley Crump on the bottom there. Dangerous spot for Beers. He's going to clear Crump.
Austin Beers with a
Puts
huge power
Mogard in the
move.
wall.
Sixth up to third, and now going for second. He almost wrecks Scott Crump. He'll save it, and here comes Beers.
He shoved Mogard all the way up into that outside wall. They're wrecking in the back. Trippiano, Thomas around.
Yep, that's it. Trippiano and Dylan Thomas wreck. They're going to come on the
Green.
track, and
We're so green. We're so
no
green.
caution. Wow. Cameron Rich has that little bit of a lead, but Crump buries it into turn 1. Pulls out on Austin Beers a little bit, and he'll narrow in on Cameron Rich. Scott Crump trying to get the lead. Here comes Beers.
Oh, he wrecked him.
And Crump
What a
saves it.
save. What a save by Scott Crump.
We don't have a good hands move of the race. I keep telling Johnny Thomas to put one in. We'll say your name, your
Caution.
business name. Yep, there's a wreck behind Nyhand again. He's had a miserable night after starting 4th. And I don't think Scott Crump's very happy with Mr. Beers. I would put the camera on that before we hit this replay.
Nah, he's not there yet.
He's coming though.
Oh, yeah.
He's 51 mad
Yeah,
at
they're there.
mad at the 19, the 64. Not happy. Scott Crump not happy with Austin Beers. Beers up to second now, though.
Did it the civil way. Didn't wreck him. Didn't put any contact. Just drove up beside him to let him know.
Alerted Beers that there was some issue he took. I think Gavin Hibbs is going to get into my hand here on the stack up. Oh, yep, right there. Very typical Richmond race. And we move along. Truppiano angry at Dylan Thomas in the chat. My oh my, things have gotten interesting. Austin Beers with fresher tires than Cameron Rich has moved up to second. Scott Crump now mad at Austin Beers. He'll be restarting right behind him in 4th. On the outside.
Mogard and Beers just made contact there, trying to switch lines. I don't know what exactly happened there or how that got together, but they did bump into each other there under a caution. It's kind of weird.
A little weird. Should we? I think he's gonna be very mad. Also, I don't know if he's in the lobby. He's not in Discord. Oh, he is. All right, there he is. I didn't see him there. All right, let's talk to Crump. Put him in the waiting room so he stops talking. Scott Crump, what'd you think of that run there?
All right, till the Austin Beers got up there. I don't know what the hell he's doing.
You got something back for him here, or what you thinking? Because you were making some moves on Cameron Rich. I thought you were going to have a chance.
Yeah, I was trying to, but 64 kept on dive bombing me. So I don't know. He's just driving so far deep and just trying to wreck everybody, I guess.
Alrighty, man. Well, good luck. You made a hell of a save there, man. I tell you what, that was That was a nice piece of driving.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody that checked up for it or whatever, and let me save it or whatever. So I don't know. Killed the tires a little bit, but we'll see how it goes.
All right, good luck, man.
All right, thank you.
I would describe Scott Crump as a little miffed, but overall, he's not too bad.
Well, and we're less than 40 laps to go here. We're at a short track. Tempers might flare a little bit here in the final stretch of this race, so we'll see what happens between some guys.
Yeah, I think a lot of crazy stuff going on, but you know, we look through the field at some of our championship contenders. Nick Indelicato's back in 8th. He has made up some pretty good ground. Massey is right in front of him in 6th. Massey dominated the early part of this race. Kwame Scott's been involved in several incidents. He's back in 14th. So, you know, still some time, but he has really been able to capitalize pretty well, despite having some issues. And, you know, 14th, you have a 15-point lead. The worst you can possibly do, 1 point advantage. So, I think Kwame Scott's feeling all right.
Well, if it were to finish like this right now, he would lead. He would lose the points lead. But
It'd be by like 1 point or something.
well, you got to forget that he lost 10 or 9 points to Massey, plus the 2 bonus points for leading lap. So it would be 5 or so. Whatever it would come out to be. But
Yeah,
anyway.
8-point difference between the two right now as well. So yeah, it'd be a 3 or 4 point lead going down. You know, all the marbles next week. I double check where we are as well for that next race. Homestead, we're finishing it off at Homestead. Finishing it off right. Green flag's back out. And let's watch that outside line. Scott Crump's all over the back of Austin Beers. Give him a little tap going down into 1.
A little bit of a love tap right there to Austin Beers. Might have cut him a little bit of a break.
Nick Massey's decided it's go time. That's the most speed I've seen out of Massey since he had the lead. He goes after Scott Crump, and Beers is going after Cameron Rich right here for the race lead. Hibbs around. No caution. Rawls around. Caution is out. That's for Rawls. And Beers again cannot find his way by that 47 car. Ogard 3rd, Massey 4th, Scott Crump will restart 5th with this next one, pending pit stops, of course. Back in the field here, Hibbs, Burrell slowed up or something there, and Rawls and Hibbs nowhere to go. Something happened in front of Ethan Burrell. I don't know if Ethan did just stop like that. I'm wondering if they got sideways coming off the 2 there, or coming off the 4 rather. Oh,
He just got loose. Yeah.
Ethan's the one making the.
And
You don't
he
see
came
Ethan
back
Burrell.
up on track. And
You
lost.
don't see Ethan Burrell make many driving mistakes. And yeah, I've made my fair share of driving mistakes. And you don't see Ethan Burrell be making those mistakes. This is like a full moon night. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on.
Rawls tried to stay in it here and keep it straight and looped it out.
And it's not a caution until right there when he's backwards on the racing surface. Rawls might be getting close to the. Well, Rawls in my hand might be getting close to that 25X. Those guys have been involved in a lot of stuff tonight.
So you're going to have Cameron Rich on the inside, Beers on the outside. Bogard will be on the inside of row 2 with Nick Massey on the outside. And then Scott Crump and Nick Indelicato in row 3.
I'm just looking back through the field. I've got Kwame Scott 13th and his best buddy Damian Leininger restarting 14th.
Question here. Do you think Damien feels okay enough with what he did, or do you think there's more to come?
No clue, man. Absolutely none. You never know. If the goal is to prevent Kwame from winning the race, well, he's done that. I don't think Kwame's got really a chance to win this race, but if the goal is to prevent Kwame from winning the championship, well, you haven't done that yet.
I guess we'll find out. Gonna go back green here. Next time or one more after that?
Like one more time around here. Oh, are they getting no?
Lights are still on, so
Yeah, lights are still on. 2 more here. "30 laps to go in what has been our most wild chase race so far, without question. Talladega last week was pretty nuts, but this has just been insane. Cameron Rich, Austin Beers, and Nick Massey, which were our 3 picks, are running first, second, and fourth. Sometimes we know what we're talking about.
at least we always seem to do really well during the middle of or 3/4 of the way through the race. It's just finishing the race that we kind of have a little bit of problem with at times.
After last week, like all of our picks got wrecked on that last lap.
I mean, we did go with some outliers though towards last week, so.
Zisham was in that first group, and he got wiped out in that last lap wreck. I don't remember who Carlos had, because it wasn't Rich, right?
No, he didn't pick.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Goody. That's right. Goody got wrapped up in one of the early wrecks. But I think yours and mine did, Dom. Anyway, here we go. We'll see if they get wrapped up in another one with all of them in the top 5 again.
Getting ready to go green.
Rich going early. Beer's going to try to cut Mogard off. I don't think he's going to get there. Back in the field, Kwame Scottish went 3 wide underneath Weeks and just wrecked him. I can't believe.
Do you know where that came from?
And Kwame was trying to get away from the 12.
And the 12 was chasing him into the corner, and I think it was more net code. Nobody really, took each other out, but Weeks shot up the track from that contact.
I'm a little confused, though, because Kwame is now gone. Kwame's no longer in the session.
Yeah, he, glitched out after all that.
Okay, here we go, anyway.
Did he rage quit, maybe?
I don't know.
All right, this is the dive bomb, Carlos.
Clears himself on Beers. They're wrecking behind, and that does give Mogard that second spot. Wow. Kwame got DQ'd. He hit the 25X on the limit. Right there. A little final retribution from Damien. Giving him the last X there.
That's going to be it. He's going to be out of it.
Oh, Cameron Rich firing. Kwame very upset in the chat, but Cameron Rich firing back a little bit there. And remember, Cameron Rich not a fan of Kwame Scott after Atlanta.
Well, that's what my point was. If Damien had his shot earlier, I had a feeling Cameron might have had at least a little fun with Kwame up front if they would have got there.
Right. I think you go into this race and you see something like that where Leininger and some of these guys have kind of taken their shot at Kwame, knowing that he's in the championship hunt. You see that, and you know, back in the day, Kwame ran and kind of cashed his chips in. Those guys had their revenge card in the back pocket. They've been sitting on it. They knew about it. A lot of guys did. Well, I'm sure this will be interesting. Kwame, it's David in the booth.
What's up?
Looked like you've had an interesting day. Take us through it.
I mean, there's nothing really to go through. I mean, these guys are a joke. I mean, that's just, we call these guys like Damian and Ryan is supposed to be the class of his league, and they look at what's happening. I guess the admins thought it was, a good idea to just let them race, but we all know what they're here for. There's literally only one reason for them to race right now, and that's to impede me. And I guess they did it. That's a success on their part, but ERSCA looks like a fucking joke right now. Excuse my language, but ERSCA looks like a joke. Like for whatever reason, like this whole season, ever since the Damien incident, people want to downplay my success in this league, and by saying I'm a reckless driver and whatnot. But I've raced. Never have I ever had the intent to, other than wrecking Damien at Martinsville because of tensions there. But I never have the intent to just run everybody I see over. Like for whatever reason, the whole entire league up here, like everyone just assumes that about me now. But all the guys that I race with normally can tell you that that's not how I race. So it's, but if they want to, if it's I don't know, I'm just, there's no point in really like spouting about. I mean, it is what it is, I guess.
10-4. Well, Kwame, go out there next week, see what you got. You had a 15-point lead, so I think it'll be make-upable if something happens.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
All right. I mean, we talked about it, right? You get a reputation. Mogard just got into beers there. We talked about it, right? He's done some things throughout the season that guys have not agreed with, and paybacks happen. I mean, you look at NASCAR, right? Like the real NASCAR right now. Ross Chastain's in the same things guys haven't agreed with, and now he's kind of got a reputation of being a guy that's going to get into you when he's racing, and guys are going to pay him back. It's going to happen. These rivalries find a way of working themselves out.
I mean, he feels slighted, obviously, because there was other guys involved. But from my point of view, I see him. We gotta get the next caution. I'm sure it's coming. Beers has cleared Mogard for what it's worth with the race on track, but you look in at the rest of this, the rest of this field, everybody's running into each other all the time. We've seen a lot of incidents and stuff, but I don't think anybody's season was really removed, with the sole exception of the incident that we've kind of discussed at length at Martinsville. That's the only one that felt seriously kind of crushing for somebody.
No, and Damien got his revenge like he wanted to. Unfortunately, it just happened that Kwame hit the 25X rule, and Damien probably feels good about the whole situation now. He feels like he got his payback that he felt like he deserved.
Yeah, I would think so. We'll bring him up here if the caution comes out. He needs to stay in it. Right. Yeah, otherwise, we'll get him after the race, because this has been a storyline that went from the beginning of the race all the way through.
Well, that opens the door, though, for some of these other guys in the championship. With Tate having a bad day, Kwame now out of the race. They're still not going to be. They're going to be closer than they definitely were when they started the day. They're still going to have some work cut out for them. But Nick and Delicato, Cameron Rich, putting themselves with a shot heading into Homestead.
Massey's still here, right? He's running in 6th. He's on the outside of Scott Crump. He's got every shot. Also, you got Austin Beers sneaking up on Cameron Rich right here for the race lead. He's definitely faster with those fresher tires.
Yeah, Nick is hanging around, lurking, just trying to get back out to the front where he had earlier. But these guys definitely going to pick up some big points, whether it's into the top, closing in on that top spot or not. They're definitely going to probably move up the standings here a little bit.
Yep. Cameron Rich, loving what he's seeing. In my mind, he was one of the ones that was angriest at Kwame recently. And I think had this race gone differently, we would have seen the 47 car delivering some of those bumps.
Absolutely. I have no doubt that I feel like that would have happened. But right now, he's got 14 laps left to go, that he's got to hold that car off behind him with Austin Beers.
Beers really strong and hungry. I know he's He's been a year plus, no win in ERSCA. He hasn't won a race here yet. And this is a guy who races in real life and wins in real life. He's the kind of guy who wins a lot on iRacing, and I've seen him win a lot. He's been in a bit of a winless drought. Nick Massey got by Scott Crump, and he's run down Nick and Delicato.
Yeah, Massey's starting to make the move. Don't know if there's going to be much time for him to do too much other than maybe an outside shot of a top 3 here.
Okay, so Tate Lytle's 11th.
No way.
He's 11th. I don't know how that happened. That car has been beaten, battered, broken, and Tate Lytle's got it running. And I guess he fell to 12th now with Ethan Burrell, but passing him. But oh my goodness, what a run for Tate Lytle! What perseverance Tate has had in this race.
Absolutely keeps him alive.
That's just the run he needs. A 12th place run. You can scribble out everything else that happens if Tate can get it home in 12th. You scribble everything else out. It happens. You chalk it up to a bit of an frustrating race, and you move on, right? If Tate can do that, and there's plenty of time left for this thing to go haywire in front of Tate and him to pick up more spots. Oh, there goes Campbell and Matthew Weeks as well. Caution's out. Number 16 on the night, Cameron Rich. Yeah, we'll bring up Damien here after in the care center.
So no matter what, Nick will be your points leader. Nick Massey will be your points leader leaving tonight. Tate could find himself maybe 10 points or so back, roughly, depending on how this finishes out. And Delicato will probably move up to 3rd with the run he's had. And then it would be Scott and Rich, depending on how this all finishes out.
Let's bring in Damian Leininger. Damian, it's David in the booth. Take us through your night.
Yeah, it was a wild one there, huh? But
I think it was.
Yeah, Richmond. I mean, fun. One of my favorite tracks there, and I think we had a pretty good, strong car for most of the race there. Gotten a few incidents, but tonight was about an eye for an eye. Tonight was about getting costed a chance in my playoff run by somebody intentionally deciding that they wanted to end it themselves. So I came in with the same pleasure of ending somebody else's championship run, and I think we did a pretty solid job there. When it all happened, I gave league admins especially Johnny, I gave him the runway to, hey, I understand this is how you want to have it, but you can make a rule right now that stops anybody from saying that this is okay to do. And he said, that's not what we're going to do. We're not going to have rules. You handle it as you want to. We got into I told him exactly. I said, so if I miss the playoffs and it comes down to where he's leading and it happens that way, you're fine with it? And he says, if that's what you see fit, then that's what you're going to do. So that's what we did there. And, I'm fully expecting that I will not be seeing you guys for the rest of the season. But, it was in the long run, it was about costing somebody the playoff chance and the shot at the championship like it was costed to me.
Gotcha, man. And did you know that he was almost out of incident points there? Because that's what actually kind of did him in.
It was talked about. He's made a lot of enemies throughout the playoffs and throughout the rest of the season as well. So, I don't think looking tonight, I was the only one that was involved in, causing him damage or issues in this race. So I didn't know how close he was. And honestly, that last one wasn't my intent to right there. I was going to do it off of turn 2 and into turn 3. And really, he dove 3 wide. It caught me off guard. I hit Weeks, and then it just it went from there. So I figured he was close on the disqualification for the X's, but also that's another thing that the admins put into play and put into our hands with the having this X mark. You open yourself up to this as well. So.
Yep. Well, Damien, been a pleasure running with you. Yeah, I'd wager you're gonna get some admin justice, but you know what? It is what it is at this point. You know, we've had the storylines geared up all year, and it's been a fun to watch out for.
Yeah, well, usually when it comes down to it, they don't get the first person; they always get the second person anyway. So,
Yeah.
we'll re-rack for 2023 and see you guys next year.
All right, thanks, Damien. Wow. Well, let's finish this race off.
Going green.
Beers did not get a good jump. Cameron Rich is way out in front now.
Mogard underneath for second. Here comes Nick Massey as well.
Man.
Mogard into Beers up.
Nick Massey's going to shoot through the second. And
Oh, wrecking Beers in the wall. And Delicato in the wall.
And Nick Massey now has a chance to come home second. Did Tate Lytle get through it? Tate Lytle got through it. Oh my goodness. Ah, man, we just, it was almost just this nice little doodle-doo to the end there, and we weren't even gonna have to talk, and all of a sudden it's gone crazy. All right, here we go. So, look to me like Mogard is mad at Beers, I think, right? Didn't that look like it? Mogard just hauled it off in there and drove Beers up the track. Bang, right there, just a door slam into the 19.
I think Delicato gave him a shot there too, just checking. Oh, Crump
Crump.
got into Delicato, which got into Beers, and the whole field wrecked behind him.
My goodness. And then, just a big wreck behind. Watch Tate Lytle. Cut to the bottom. Watch him braking. That's Tate Lytle right there. Squirting right through the middle of the hole. Robert Hill into the inside wall. Chris right into the inside wall. Tate drives right on past him. And what a break for Nick Massey. I mean, it could be Massey versus Tate next week now, because Delicato needed this top 5 run. Now finds himself much further back in the running order. 10th, actually, but with a good bit of damage that he'll have to navigate, and he won't even gain anything on Tate Lytle.
Tate Lytle's having one of those Ethan Burrell-esque runs where Ethan just seems like always struggles, gets into a little bit of contact sometimes, and then just keeps working on it. And all of a sudden, here he comes late in the race.
And this is the kind of run you look on. If Tate ends up winning the championship next week, you look back at this run and you say, I mean, this is the one. He got caught up in other people's incidents all race long, and then late in the going, that car finally fixed enough to be able to make some speed, and he's able to dodge the incidents and drive right up through to the front.
And we were counting them out too.
He'll be 9th. Also, we lost Robert Hill in that one, based on the 25X incident limit. And I imagine there are a few more guys that are right on the doorstep.
Speaking of that, Ethan Burrell is in the top 5 now. Actually, he'll start 6th, I think.
I think Steinmiller's in the top 5. He's had an eventful night, been around a couple of times, and has just kind of dodged the incidents all the way up into the top 5. Same for Vincent Isabella, who's currently 4th.
Are we still in regular laps here, or if we gone into extra laps? Okay, so 2 attempts here at a green-white checking. So this will be 2 attempts at a green-white checking. All right, David, we're going to have to use both these attempts.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh boy, here we go. Cameron Rich has been jumping out to a huge lead with a quick restart. Wonder if Massey can time it up at all.
Not a very good restart for Nick Massey. Mogard's going to be able to get underneath.
just a tough spot there for Massey, you know, and with where he can't really make a move on that outside lane. He'll clear Mogard though. Here comes Steinmiller looking to the bottom. Hank's not going to go for it. Oh, he will. He dives it in late. Mogard tries to cover the 3 wide. We will not get a caution. This race will end with the next flag. Steinmiller does get by Mogard.
Can Massey get there?
Massey's trying. Nick Massey needs to just make sure that he gets this thing home. Though, man, you don't want to wreck it right here. Massey's going to be just a little bit short. Cameron Rich is going to come off turn 4 and win a crazy race at Richmond. Hank Steinmiller, Nipsovitz, and Isabella at the line. Tate Lytle's going to finish 11th. Yep. He gets Matthew Bayuk back for wiping him out last week at the line. Bayuk loses a couple of positions. Nick Indelicato finishes 9th. Between Mogard and Beers. More tempers flaring. And there have been a lot of tempers flaring tonight.
Short track racing.
Mogard and Beers angry at one another. It all happened behind Cameron Rich. He's your winner. Yep. We aren't keeping track of the points like we do in over in ERSCA, but I'm pretty sure
we'll have to definitely do it next year, I think.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great way to keep track of, you know, how those kinds of things go over the course of the season, and the trends of us picking.
David definitely has the worst luck, I'll say that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's not even that I pick the wrong people; it's that I pick the right people, and then they get run into. All right, let's grab Hank Steinmiller here. Somehow finished 3rd. Hank, it's David in the booth, man. That was an eventful race for you, but you wound up 3rd. How'd you do that?
That's the carnage. Seems like there was a lot of it out there, and you give a little when you can, and then taketh when you need to.
Yeah, and you know, I don't remember what lap you got wrecked on, but it seemed like really early in the race you were fighting back, and you know, with the stuff going on around you, and maybe even in your chat, what did you kind of see for yourself when you were getting kind of wrecked there? Where was a 3rd place ever in your mind?
No. Wait, I didn't qualify very well. Felt like I could have put a top 5, but spun out on both laps. Honestly, I kind of saved on the second one, put down a really bad time. But running in the middle of these, it's so hard to pass, and then each lane checks up. When everyone was taking, I guess, their own matters into their own hands there. It seemed like everyone was going after everyone. But get caught up in a little bit of that, and then knowing I had a little bit of damage there in the rear, it kind of put me back. So I was just trying to stay opposite tire strategy of everyone else. I'd get that track position, then go pit to get fresher tires and kind of stay even with them, and it just kind of worked out.
Oh, it's a good run, man. And, you know, we haven't really talked to you much since your win back at Auto Club. Did you think the switch to the Xfinity cars kind of hampered your opportunities to win a little bit?
I don't think so. I definitely was better in the COTs, I believe. The issue with these leagues now, when we're running the winning in thing, I kind of lose interest once you lock yourself into that playoff, and then it just kind of fades back. I take chances that I wouldn't normally take risks that are probably unnecessary. It kind of turns around and bites me eventually. And probably see it here with, I don't know where I'm at, 6th, 7th in standings. But yeah, it's not losing interest, just taking risks that are unnecessary, and I got to get better at that.
Gotcha, man. Well, congratulations on the good run. You got any shout-outs for us before we send you off?
Yeah, shout out to Juicebox Pod. Go check them out on all podcast platforms there. We'll do the Bat Flip Pod too, and Apex Sim Racing, Country Road Motorsports, everyone there.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations on the P3, and we'll catch you next week. Final season finale.
Oh yeah, let's go.
All right, let's go grab P2 Nick Massey, and I believe that Nick, you'll be the championship leader after this one. Take us through a pretty wild night, and even on your end, you were back and forth all night long.
Yeah, just I mean, I think I took one set of tires tonight. We had four. Just try to stay up there for the halfway points because Kwame and Tate were struggling with all the chaos back there, I think. But yeah, definitely wild for sure. I mean, I'm sure it's super boring for you guys, but I mean, deserve to put on a better show than that. I mean, I don't know what the total caution count was, but I love Richmond. It's a fun track, especially when it goes green. You're saving tires and everything like that. But man, it's coming to just have four sets of tires and not know when to take them and just trying to survive out here, man. It was tough.
Yeah, and I was kind of on you a little bit there in the middle of the race where you had stayed out, and there was one point where you probably could have come in with the guys behind you and gotten tires, and I think that's the time that Cameron got tires and you ended up staying out. He ended up driving past you. I was wondering why you didn't decide to take tires at that point, and then there was another point later on where Indelicado went in and got tires and you stayed out, but that one worked out for you. So,
Yeah, it's so tough because then, especially with everything happening in the back, I mean, it's like, do you want to go back there and risk maybe getting in a wreck? And the other thing is, too, is like you get all these cautions, everybody's on different tires and, running each other over because they're on better tires, trying to gain all they can. And it just kind of feeds on itself, I think. But yeah, it's so hard to make the right call. That's all that it's really about at these short tracks is when do you take your last set of tires? That's how you're going to finish.
Yeah, and I mean, it looked like you were also kind of saving a little bit there and kind of aware that you weren't going to be worried about taking tires as much. So, were you able to turn it on there at the end and make some moves? It seemed like your car could pick it up on some of those restarts late where you didn't necessarily have to, or you didn't necessarily have that speed beforehand in the run.
Yeah, I mean, the whole first half of the race, I was just trying to stay up there and get as many points as I could. And then I saw Tate and Kwame have air issues, so I was able to kind of just take tires a little bit past halfway and kind of just save because I knew, like, wrecks would probably happen back there. So I was just trying to stay out of all the chaos, stay out of any three-wide situations. And, eventually guys kept pitting, and I kept picking up spots. And then I kind of went hard once I kind of got closer up here in the top five. And then that hole kind of opened up for me on a caution before the green white checker. I think the 00 got in there a little too hot and cleaned out the third and fourth for me. So I kind of parted the seas, and I just couldn't get a good start and match Cam there. I think maybe if I had like 5 or 10 laps to maybe have a shot at him, I might have had something for him. But he just played the right strategy tonight.
Yep. Well, Nick, looking forward at Homestead, you're probably going to be the points leader. I'm not entirely sure by how much just yet, but you think you're going to have a shot at the championship here?
Yeah, I don't even know what the point situation looks like right now. I think we're going to be in pretty good shape, though. I mean, as long as nothing crazy happens, I think as long as we show up with some speed, no internet issues, knock on wood, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. Hopefully we can just put this thing and go get championship number 2 this season. That'd be awesome.
Yep. We'd be able to. You're the only one, I think, that we can say be 2-time ERSCA champ, and it might be a while before anybody gets to you. So with that, any shout outs you want to give before we send you off tonight?
Yeah, just shout out to teammate Kwame. I know he had a rough night coming into tonight as a leader, especially, but shout out to him, Chris, because he was kind of helping me out with some pit calls there, even he got wrecked a couple times. Shout out to you guys for doing the broadcast tonight. Hopefully you had a lot of snacks and stuff. Maybe telling some jokes up here. I don't know.
We have a good time with it, especially when it gets a little dramatic. It gets even more fun.
I know. I got to start coming in the ERSCA Discord so you can pull me up. There's some of these yellows here.
Yep, we'll talk to you. Might have to talk to you a lot next week.
Yeah, hopefully you will be.
Might be bad luck, given that everybody we call up seemed to get wrecked immediately. So.
Oh boy.
All right.
Alrighty. Yeah. Well, thanks guys for on the show.
Yep. Thanks, Nick. We'll talk to you next week, hopefully.
See ya.
And now it'll be race winner Cameron Rich. Oh, not you. Wrong one. There we go. Cameron Rich coming up right now. Cameron, congratulations on the race win, buddy. And, it looked like you made the right pit calls tonight. Get you up front.
Yeah, man, I don't know what in the hell what was in the water, what people were thinking before that race, but it's just a lot going on. Not a lot of actual racing. Seems like a lot of actual wrecking. I think I pitted there on lap 75 or so, plus or minus like 5 laps, and I honestly didn't know whether I was going to pit again. Just the way that race was going, it could have gone either way. If we had a green run after that, I probably would have had to pit around 130 or something. But I don't know, man. Just when you get that track position in these types of races, you just have to keep it, and there's just no ifs, ands, or buts. Can't give it up. The 64 or 19, I don't know his number is 64, but his car is 19. He was really fast tonight. Austin was on it, and he got like sideswiped or something in turn 1 there up at the 00. I'm not sure what happened, but I saw cars hit and then cars wrecked, so something definitely did happen there.
Hey, you looked like you had a pretty relaxing night, just given that you were mostly doing the restart and out front. And you were in control of this race, and once you got control there with about 50 or so laps to go, was it kind of your mindset to just get the good restarts, and you knew the cautions were going to come out behind you?
I hope they were going to come out. I mean, there's no guarantee, but at that point, it kind of seemed like it was going to go that way. And, it's kind of bittersweet because that was a really cool win. I love Richmond. It's my favorite track, and I always love to win here because it's my home track. But when I look at this chase schedule, we have Homestead next week, which is one of my best. Atlanta, I mean, Atlanta should have gone differently. Darlington should have gone differently, but that was on me. Atlanta, I just got caught up in something. So I don't know. It's not been the best chase at all by far. I should have done better, but I'm glad we're at least going to come out of the season with 4 wins. So that's going to tie somebody else with the most, or maybe be the most. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure why we have guys come into the league that take half the chase off and then cause shit during the races either, because that happened at Talladega and that's happened tonight. And I got some beef against Kwame from Atlanta, but he didn't deserve what happened tonight. I mean, that's just you can't come into a race and just act like a clown, just wreck people like that, especially when we're all battling for a championship, because regardless of how I feel about how he raced me during a race, he got taken out by people that weren't even racing for a championship, and that's not cool. That's not something that the league should be proud of. We as drivers put on these races, and we did a really bad job tonight. And I'm glad I finished first, but I don't think that was very much of a race. That was more of just a demolition derby.
Last words from Cameron Rich. Cameron, and with that, I think the preliminary amount of points you're behind is 36. You got an Indy shot next week going into the championship race?
Yeah, I think I got a really good shot. If the people in front of me get abducted by aliens and can't make it, might have a shot there. But realistically, I think it's just based on what I remember from the beginning of the race. I think probably Nick Massey is probably going to be pretty good going in Homestead. He might have the lead at this point. So I don't know. We'll finish where we finish. Try to go for 5 wins next week and see where it happens. I apologize to him before this is over. I apologize to him during the race. I just want to say again, I do want to apologize to Chris, the 95. I did kind of just clean him out there in turn 3. Just a bad move. I had new tires, was kind of going a little aggressive. I don't try to race like that. I don't, there was enough of that tonight. I didn't need more of me doing that. So I just want to apologize on my behalf, because I'm not a dirty racer. I don't go out there to try to have grudges against people and race like shit all week. That's just not how I do it. So I do apologize to Chris for that. He was really fast tonight. So, and I know that put him back.
Thanks, Cameron, and next week you never know, man. This race has any indication, anything can happen any given week in this series. So good luck and congratulations. And by the way, your 4 wins are indeed the most in the series this season.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thanks, Cameron. So with that, we're done with Richmond. And what a night that was. And we'll pull up the final results here and take a look through them. Hank Steinmiller, Vincent Isabella, and Scott Crump rounding up the top 5. Crump getting that top 5 after that incredible save midway through the race. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, it would have been interesting there if he didn't have to make that save. What would have happened if he would have had a car to contend for the win here tonight?
Tate Lytle finishes 11th. He will have, I believe, just an 18-point deficit. Heading in next week, Nick Massey with a 16-point lead, but we've seen how much that matters in the end. We saw a 15-point lead go awry tonight, so Massey's lead not fully safe, but he'll have to perform his best next week if he wants to win the championship. Down here through the drama, and a lot of angry tempers and stuff, but we know that stuff was brewing. You could tell it was brewing. It'd been brewing for the whole season. We've seen a lot of different people running into each other in these races, and at the end of the day, it's it's for show here, and we're out to have some fun. Any final thoughts, guys, before we head off?
One race left to go, and the season's done. We'll see if Nick can go and be our first ever repeat champion.
Sounds good to me. We'll see you guys next week. For Carlos Acosta, David Westergreen, and Dom Santina, this has been ERSCA on 3 Wide TV, presented by Belly Up Sports. We will see you next week.
All right, let's just all relax, go to the beach here in Miami, and